Welcome to a demonstration game of Battle for Pendraic. Just a hobby project, is not sanctioned by Tale Worlds or any of the writers of the Calradian lore, which you can see on the digital PC games Mountain Blade, Warlords, and the most recent one, Bannerlord. I try to focus on the specific event of the Battle of Pendraic Castle that is featured as the Kickstart storyline for the most recent title, Bannerlord, and inspirations to just attempt a quick design on this was Waterloo 1815 by UP Games and Saladin by Shakos. So it's a simple game just with the blocks, fixed locations, and cards with different types of actions, which we will use banners to activate them. Eventually they get flipped. They all must be flipped, then the turn ends, and so on and so forth until there's a victor, either by eliminating all the banners from the opposing force or by a sudden victory and other aspects. On the prototype is on the Tabletop Simulator Workshop, and we go over the board. So usually there's a play area on both sides and then the contingent boxes. So for example, for this side we have the Imperial Contingent, the Aserai Contingent, and the Crusade. On the Coalition side we have the Batanians, the Sturgeons, and the Vlandians. So these boxes will pretty much, it's like a holding box. Doesn't mean you really have to use them, but we will use them to keep forces, which is one block is one forces that got removed from the board, or to keep banners that are pulled and can be used for rerolls. So the game starts with the coalition play first. So what coalition does, we will reserve one banner from the Sturgeons and one banner of... no, we're gonna keep two. So each side can reserve at the start of a turn up to two banners. So can be 0, can be 1, can be 2, and they can be used for several activities, mainly the reroll of one die per action. Can't use two banners to reroll two dice on one action. You can reroll one die on one action using one banner. The Imperial side have some specifics. We must reserve immediately 4 banners at the start of the game for the Imperial camp, and we will reserve 2 banners, one for the Aserai and one for the Imperials. For the rerolls, there's a distinction and a symmetry between both sides. Imperials can use any of the banners for any action taken by any of the contingents. The coalition must use their respective banners to activate each of the contingents. So right there, there's an asymmetry. Regarding the rerolls, the Imperials follow the universal rule. So if you want to reroll a die that is being used specifically by Imperial force, which is the purples, they must use the correct color banner. The same if the Aserai need to make a reroll, they need to have one of their banners. So that's it. let's start the game in earnest. So now the coalition must decide which we're gonna do first. Given we already pulled 2 of the banners of the sturgeons, we will use Vadin's Love here, which is a coalition character. Each contingent has at least 1 character, and we are going to use I like to hold is only 1 per game and usable only when Narratus is in the camp. Narratus is the emperor, and Narratus starts the game in the Imperial Vanguard. When he's back in the camp there, then we can use Oleg. We're going to use a push, which we will use 3 banners. And as you see, it's a melee combat, targets the Empire Vanguard. Any Empire banners loss is also forced to transfer of an equal amount of Imperial forces from the Vanguard to the camp, if there's space available. If no spaces, ignore the transfer. So we're going to attack with 3 banners. Oh yeah, it's the full force. So 6 die. And the Imperials must defend with 6 as well. So it's the entire force when it doesn't specify the amount of forces. So we're gonna roll 6 die here. And the Imperial Vanguard, we are actually going to defend using 3 of the... Yeah, we're going to use all of them, all the Imperials. So now we have a few scores here. So we have 2 sharks, 3 moons. What does that mean on the symbols? So moons means 1 friendly banner is removed or lost, goes to the... And the explosions is 1 friendly force. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna spend 1 more banner there and reroll 1, so it goes empty. So just right there we immediately lose 3 more banners. So 1, 2, 3. Given there were no more sturgeon banners, I have to take from the other contingents. And 1 blast is 1 friendly force lost. I'm going to take the banners to the side, the ones that have been used. Okay, now the Imperial side. We have 1 moon and 2 blasts. I'm going to use 1 of the banners to reroll 1 of the die. And it's an empty score. So we lose 1 force and 1 extra banner. I'm gonna put them to the side. So what did the card say exactly? Any Empire banner loss is also forced to transfer of an equal amount of Imperial forces from the Vanguard. So there was one banner loss. So one force is transferred from the vanguard to the camp, and we lose one force of the Imperials as well. Okay. Let's take the dice out of there. Take these ones out of there. Okay, it's Imperial time to play. So we have the Imperials have a lot of options compared with the Contingent. There's a big asymmetry here. So what we can do with the Imperial Vanguard, we could go Shield Wall, but we're going on the attack with the Empire Vanguard. Empire Vanguard means the specific forces, but we can use any banners. So we're going to use 3 banners and flip it. So we spent through the 3 banners, and we can, well, we cannot target the battalions because they are not committed yet. That's a card on the other side. And we're going to attack the Sturgeons with 2 forces. Another way of checking which banners have been used is flip the card and put the banners there. I'm going to do it. So up to 2 forces. So now important is I don't have any more banner for reroll. Doesn't matter. Okay, we rolled a banner and an empty, and they must defend with the same amount. Okay, like I rolled a banner and an empty, which means 1 banner, I eliminate 1 enemy banner, and an empty is nothing. So they have no more banners. So I'm going to remove 1 of the Vlandians. And now the Sturgeons roll the moon. And the moon is a friendly banner, and the lightning bolt is 1 enemy force. Now I don't want my banner to be lost, so I'm going to use this one for the reroll. And it's an empty. Excellent use of the banner. So I eliminate 1 more enemy force. That was actually a very bad play for the Imperials. Okay, so Imperial side rolled. It's now the Contingent. The Contingent of the coalition here. What we're gonna do? Well, we have Caladog, so we can blow the horns and activate the battalion's range, which we're gonna do. We flip Caladog and move the battalion's ranged in, and that's it. It's done. And back to the Imperial side. Now I could use Nimmer And we're going to need to range target battalions ranged. Yeah, we're going to do that. So javelins. So 3, and they defend with 3. And I want to reroll this one. Alright, that was actually fairly good. So 2 lightning bolts and 1 banner. So regarding the ranged has no, they cannot respawn. There's 2 types of combat. There's ranged combat and there's melee combat. So 2 lightning bolts, that's 1 enemy force and a banner, enemy banner. So that was excellent. The Aserai are good javeliniers, desert folk, and they lose also 1 banner. Alright, back to the coalition. We still have the sturgeons here, but we have no banners to use. So we will have to do a shield wall. 0 banners. So we're going to use shields, 0 banners and flip. So basically that's it. We still have, yeah, not that many banners. And we still need to flip a few. We're going to flip Nerutzes with 0 banners. And pass it to the coalition. The coalition, we have Dareth here. He's the king of Vlandia and the commander of the Vlandian contingent. So I'm gonna use 3 banners to flip Dareth and activate the it's only on the next turn. It's not in this turn. So what I'll do is like that, so I know next turn they are active. Back to the Imperials. We're starting to get really short. Okay, the Aserai. We can't use any banners, so the Imperial Vanguard is already flipped. We can't use the charge. We're going to use the skirmish. Which melee target, we attack the sturgeons, uses up to 2 Aserai forces, and they defend with up to 2. So here there's a choice. I might attack with 2 and they defend with just 1, or they defend up to 2 and I can attack 1. So there's a choice. I have no more rerolls, so I am going to, yeah, I'm going to roll 2 anyway. We will see the result, and the sturgeons, given they put the shields up, they're going to defend with 2 as well. So what did the Imperials get? They get a banner and a lightning bolt. Lightning bolt we've seen, we take one enemy force and the banner takes one enemy banner. That's absolutely excellent. One enemy force out and one banner out. Oh, this is going bad for the coalition. You will see why right now. Okay, the coalition has one explosion and one empty. Explosion is what? It's one friendly force. All right. That was fairly good. Coalition playtime. We have no banners. So... Oh... We're gonna add the walk for the Valandian Knights. Done. Imperial side. We still have 3 banners. We're going to use the horse archers. We're going to target the sturgeons. It's going to be ranged combat. So it's the full force, but only 2 results can be applied, and it's the choice of the opponent. So we have 3. So we roll 3 dice and the opponent chooses which ones apply. Well, doesn't really matter anything. It's done. Nothing applies. Right, we still have the battalions ranged and I have no more banners. Which is really, really bad. So that's the only last card to play. So if there's no more banners available and no 0 option, automatically remove 1 force from contingent and flip a card. So the last card that needs to be played is the battalions ranged, and that was maybe a bad play by Caladog by activating them while I had no banners to use them. So I flipped them and one of the battalion contingents goes out. Now it's the Imperials. The Imperial camp doesn't need to be flipped. It's the only exception to the rule. So the only thing I miss flipping is Gotuk. I still have one banner here. Do I have any Kuzite? No. Once per game, remove 1 force. Okay, I can flip it and remove 1 force to the pool. And then you ask me why. Well, because I can. Right, that's the end of the turn. So now we check. All cards from both sides are flipped, of course. That's the end of the turn. Victory check. Coalition loses heart, losses total pool and removed amount to 10 coalition forces. Coalition has 6. Still no victory. Okay, remove from play one banner. So of all the banners we have available, we need to remove one. Now the asymmetry of the armies comes into play here. As said in the beginning, the Imperials can use any of the banners to activate any of the forces. The coalition needs to use their respective banners. Now the Imperials will remove one, and now which one we will remove from the, I think from the Vlandians might be the most interesting to remove, and then we can play all the others. I added in the prototype also tokens, so you might want to remove the tokens, not to confuse. Some people like the flag, some people like the little tokens. That's pretty much it. That's turn 2. So if it's the last banner, the side is defeated. If both sides last banner, it's Imperial's victory. If a contingent has no forces left, if the Imperial Vanguard is wiped, if the Botanic contingent have no forces at the end of any turn, this is a special one. Now gather all banners. Turn 2, this is for the start of the turn. I need to readdress this. Okay, unflip cards. And we start again, and it's always the coalition initiating the turn. Well, that's pretty much it. One turn example of the play. There's some adjustments I need to do to the rules. There's some wording that needs readjusted, and that's pretty much it. Cheers. Thank you for keeping up. Catch you next time.